Are you having trouble finding the best friends to accompany you in your mission to becoming an entrepreneur? Well, today I'm going to show you the tone scale, which is something to help you find the best people to become your friends. Coming up next.
Let me see you put 'em up. Reach the skies, touch the stars up above. Cause it's one time for the underdog. One time for the underdog.
Hey guys, this is Broke to Beast, where you make videos about starting your own business, online or offline, as well as follow my own journey. Before we start, if you like entrepreneurship and business content, make sure you go down below and subscribe because we post videos every day about helping you achieve your success. So we all know the phrase that you're the average of the 5 people that you're around most. And to an extent, I do agree with that phrase. However, I think there are a couple things that I disagree. When you become the highest level that you can become in the tone scale that I'll be talking about in a second, you actually don't get affected by people's behaviors that are lower than yours. Now, lower doesn't mean always bad. It just means, they're not exactly at the same level you are. Now, if it's too low, yes, that's not something you want to mess with because it's going to mess up with your brain. And you need people that are in your level or even above you so you can reach higher grounds. Because if you only have people below you, you're only going to try to be carrying people, especially if you're on the higher types, you're going to be trying to carry people up that might not even want to go up more than they already are. So this concept came about me when I was reading this book, How to Choose Your People. And by the title, you already can see that it coincides heavily with the title of this video, my video. And it's actually about how you can choose the best people to become your friends around you and to help you in your mission to becoming a better person. Because most of us have had in the past or still have now a few toxic relationships that we really have to get rid of. But also I think there's something underlying that sometimes these relationships might be toxic and it can be evident, or they might be maybe toxic but it's not really evident, or you don't really want to accept that it's toxic. But the third level that I think can be really dangerous as well is that you have people that are, in a pretty good state, but they're not exactly in your level. But it's like to get to the next step of excellence, you need people that are in the path or in the next step of excellence. And even if you have people that are dedicated to their work, to their job, or to their career, they might not have the same aspirations as you, which can be dangerous because it might take you down. Not in a bad way. It's just if you have the same ideas, the same level of enthusiasm, and you have a higher enthusiasm, you're just always gonna be brought down by those people. Not to a negative state, just a boredom state that I'll be talking about in a second. Okay, so what is this tone scale? The tone scale is used to evaluate your emotional stability and your emotional intelligence of your brain and how you react to things. Now, a few things that are good are, for example, high mobility. If you move up and down the scale, it's very good because it means if you're healthy emotionally. If you're stuck in the lower tones, it's not too good for you. But, some things do happen, some bad things can happen in your life. And if you're a high tone person and you get down to a level for longer than you want, you have to be careful because to bounce back fast so you don't get stuck in those levels. So let's talk about a few of the most important levels in this tone scale. The scale is from 0 to 4, and you have to aim in your life to have people that are above 2.0, from 2.0 to 4.0. This tone scale is also related to the process of healing when something bad happens in your life. So if somebody dies in your life, for example, a closed one, you actually usually pass through all of these levels in order to get back to your original level or even to a higher one. So let's start by the bottom, which is, I believe, is the 0.2. Measurements don't matter. When I reach 2.0, I'll say. So the first one is apathy. Apathy is when everything is lost, but it's worse than lost. You're the closest to death. You can have hallucinations. You're in bed. You're like, you don't want to live your life, but you don't feel no emotions. The emotions are so bad that you shut everything off. And this is the most dangerous situation that can lead a lot of people to commit suicide. The next step is grief, which is a bit higher than apathy, but is still really bad because it can go from grief to apathy really fast. Which is where you still have emotions, but you feel hopeless. You feel like everything you do doesn't change anything, and you can't change the world, which is a very dangerous mindset to have, and to have around if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, for example. The next step is higher than grief, and it's prioritization. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly or if this is the right word, but the concept is basically where you're trying to help everybody. And this might seem that it's the most helpful thing, and it's a good thing. Helping people is a good thing. But when you're helping people for your own sake, when you're not doing it because you genuinely want to help people, but you're doing it because you want them to like you, that's like the doormat. That's somebody you can step on, and that's not where you want to be. So that's why it's so low as well. The next step that comes is fear. Now, I actually have somebody very close to me that is actually in this stage, which is not a very good stage to be in, because I believe it's the 1.0, which is still very low. And it's actually, I believe it's my mother, which is one of the worst influences you can have, right? You want your parents to be in this low of a state, it can really have a toll on you and impact. And I do actually see this. Every time I spend time with my mother, I always feel worse, I never feel better, unfortunately. But these things can be always changed. It's not a stick. You don't have to stick to one level forever. You can always change. You can always improve yourself, especially if you know about the tone scale and about how you can change yourself. All right, so the next one is hidden anger. So this is more like contempt, where people, they want to express anger, but they want to hurt people, but they're not, or they're angry at the world, but they're not expressing it openly. They're more like conserved, and it's behind the doors. So these are usually the fake people that are very nice to you in person, but then when they go behind your back, they just gossip about you and talk bad things about you. The next step is real anger, where the hidden anger comes out and it's stronger. So this is getting hard, although it seems like it's stronger emotions, like anger, something that is not good, But sometimes this is better than being in fear or in prioritization, or in grief even, because at least you're feeling something strong. You're feeling emotions and you're taking control of your life. So the anger is people that are always angry at the world and the things that happen to them. The next step is antagonism, and this is the 2.0. So this is the basic level that you need to have in your life in order to have success with entrepreneurship. But still, I would really not recommend to have somebody that is a 2.0, an antagonist in your life, because antagonism are people that are always trying to pick fights with you. They're always saying no when you're saying yes, and they're saying yes when you're saying no. They just disagree just to disagree. It doesn't mean it's their true opinion, but it does become their true opinion once they see that everybody's, in one opinion. They have to go the other way. And, a lot of times this can be very draining, You always combating with that person, and it's not very good, because if that person is always stuck there, you're always wasting time in problems and, disagreeing and talking trash about each other, instead of actually focusing on solutions and working together and working for a better, solution for a specific problem. And I actually had a close friend that, evidently he actually separated from our group in a high school friend, because, I guess he no longer relates with us because he's still an antagonist. He always wanted to pick fights. He was always trash talking, all that, which is fun, in a game and all that. But if you're always doing that, and if that's your constant state of mind, I don't think that's very healthy in the long run. Especially if you're an entrepreneur. You don't need that kind of energy around. Now we get into the good part. We get into the boredom. Boredom is my sister, for example. She, at least a few months ago, she would come home, from school, and she would just watch TV. These are the people that are content with their lives. Usually, I'd say that people that come from richer families that haven't struggled yet, that are lazy, they don't need to work for much, and they're just content where they are, but they don't have, too many negative feelings, and they don't need any reason to go up and accomplish something more. They're happy where they are, and everything is cool. Maybe the stereotypical hippie, everything is good, nothing really affects them. Maybe something that might spark a little bit of interest, they're like, maybe not really. They don't stick with things long enough for things to change. And this is fine, but I find it a lot of times very, especially if you're not at the top, where lower levels still, especially if you're not an entrepreneur in the making, you're probably not at the top yet. So you're like, you feel like these people don't really bring you anything, but they don't take away. But the fact that they don't do anything, this is just take away from the energy. They're like, there's no enthusiasm, there's no motivation to start something. So, you can hang out with them. She's my sister, but, it's not the most helpful energy that you can have. The next one is conservatism. Now, there's two parts of this, and there's one that is more mellow, one that is more like, they're better than boredom, but they're not really looking to get anything more out of life. And there's one that is more active, but basic conservatism is people that are, they want to have a stable career, they want to achieve something, they want to do their job, follow rules and all that. They don't really go against the grain. When there's an idea to do something crazy, they're like, yeah, okay, but we got to be cautious a little bit. They're not too off-putting, but they're not really the initiators, the leaders of a new movement or anything like that. But you can definitely count on them to help you when you need and to support you if you want. But they might be a little resistant at the beginning and say, hey, we gotta talk this through and think about it until tomorrow. They might be those type of people. The other three friends that I have, close friends, they're actually, I believe, the three in this stage. They actually, they want to have careers. Some of them are more lazy than others, but they're content, but they still want to have a career, something meaningful, but nothing that will lead the world into a different change. And that's okay. The thing is, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're trying to change so many things, and you're not even sure yourself if it's going to work because you're still trying to decide your path. And you have people that are like, they're not opposed to you, but they're not really encouraging. They're not in the same wavelength as you, like these types of people in the conservatism. And, you feel like it might sometimes, especially if it's more than one person, it just might affect you sometimes. If you out with them too much, you just start thinking like them. You start thinking, maybe I should get a job, maybe I should get a normal career and all that. And that's okay. If that's you, that's fine. But if you truly want to optimize your life when becoming an entrepreneur, I think you need to find better friends. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm always trying to find entrepreneur friends, people that are entrepreneurial, but are not in the lower tones, because that happens as well. It can be rich, but not be in the higher tones, and as well be in the higher tone. Somebody that is entrepreneurial and it's, in the next level that I'm going to talk about, that is called enthusiasm. And so enthusiasm is where you're really excited for life. It's not those people that wake up and they're so happy and all that, you want to just punch them in the face before you even sip your coffee. It's those people that wake up with a feeling that they like life, a feeling that they want to accomplish things today, they want to take care of things, and they want to change the people around them, and they want to bring everybody up to their level and change your community and ultimately change the world. This is the one I most identify with. Although I do have a few bad habits that take me to lower levels, which is okay, as long as I bounce back up and I stop doing those habits as much. I believe this is the one I at least feel like I'm more close to, because it also talks about how these types of people are the ones that don't really settle for mediocrity. They don't really settle for average salaries and an average life. They usually try new things with their clothes, with their hairstyle, something new to change how they're living. They're always looking for new ideas, new types of businesses, whatever they want to create, new streams of income. And they're always thinking like, okay, if I need $5,000 to survive per month, then I gotta start making $10,000 per month or even more. They don't settle for mediocrity because they know that when there's recessions and all that, people that have average salaries and that are not enough to sustain their family, or they're just enough, they will suffer the most when the crisis hits. And so they have to prepare themselves for these types of occasions. And I do identify with this because it also talks about how these people, if they're not the bosses yet, they'll most likely be in the future because they're more able to hold on to responsibilities and take care of stuff and take things to the next level in the company they're working or in the new company they're creating. And so most people have been at least a little bit in all of these levels. But to get to the higher levels consistently and be able to stay there for a longer time and maybe just dip down once in a while if occasions happen, that's the hardest part, because it takes work and it takes time to become who you truly want to be in the higher tones. It's easy to be your old self and never change, but sometimes easy is almost disgusting to people that are in higher tone, because they know that easy won't take you in the long term. They'll just destroy you and you'll have bad relationships, because everything is easier when you're in the high tone. Relationships are easier. Getting investments are easier. Getting jobs, because you're a more likable person. People can see your tone. Just think about when you're having a bad day. Do you see people looking at you? Do you have that energy going out of you and people looking at you with saying, oh, that guy has confidence? No, right? But when you're having a great day and you're energetic and you just hit the gym and you're feeling good, you hit a PR and you've done a lot of work already, you feel like you've taken your business to the next level. have your chest up and people are just, you glow success and you glow energy and people are attracted to that. And I think we have all to strive for the uppermost levels. Even if we're not in the 4.0, we can go to the 3.5, for example, which is the next best thing to enthusiasm, not yet conservatism. So as an entrepreneur, I think it's mandatory to be in the enthusiasm zone, because the leaders are in the enthusiasm zone. That's the only way we can take up responsibility and build companies from the ground up, successful companies. All right, so let's talk about what types of people you should surround yourself with. I believe as an entrepreneur, the minimum standard is to have people in the antagonism or above. And I would even say that take out the antagonism people out, because they will not help you. Yeah, I'd say so. Eliminate everybody else that is not on antagonism or above, because you have to read the book to understand fully all of these things and the types of people and why they will affect your business and who you are. Because if you stay long enough with people in the lower tone, you'll start to become like them. They'll always bring you down. And also, if you already know that you're an entrepreneur, I think the best thing is to find as many enthusiasm people as possible. People that are or in the same journey as you, or they're already successful entrepreneurs that are still enthusiastic. But the most important thing is the tone skill. People that are trying to achieve things that are bigger than them, things that will change the world, change how people think and all that. And I think it's really important to find those types of people, because even though, above antagonism with, for example, boredom, conservatism, those two are really good. Most people that are in those two levels are getting mediocre lives, or, pretty good lives, decent, or they're just getting, a pretty good career, but nothing exceptional, nothing that is really, really noteworthy, and something that they have high responsibility. So, it's up to you to find the best people. But if you have low tone people, it's better to have no friends for a while and focus on your business, and then try to find little by little really valuable friends to include in your close group of people, than just have bad friends that will just bring you down. Good way to find people that are in your level, for example, in the enthusiasm, that are entrepreneurs as well, is to just go to entrepreneur groups and people that are mentors to other people already, even online. Although online, I really don't like the idea of online, because you can't really meet a person. You can't really see the person in person, so you can really evaluate them. But it's still valuable, if you have a Skype conversation, it can still work very well. Anyways, I hope this helped you out understand how you can choose the best friends for you, for your life, and how to grow as an entrepreneur with the friends around you. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below, and let me know what type of friends you have, and if you already moved on from friends that you had before, or if you're thinking about it. And if you like this type of videos, please leave a like and subscribe, because we post videos every day to help you achieve a better life with entrepreneurship. And I hope this helped, and until next time, peace.